looks like we made it south of the 22, making our way into Huntington Beach. You see all of the authorities that are in pursuit. It's a reckless driver. It was LAPD actually that's chased this now all the way into Orange County, which is quite a rarity. They've had their helicopter overhead on this one as well. So still a couple of miles out on this one. Let me just drop the speedometer because we're definitely not going 200 miles an hour right now. But I'm having a little bit of a communication issue right now, Juan. Let me just send it back to you in the studio for 1 second.
Go ahead and do that. We'll go to Mike Rogers on the desk to fill us in on what's going on, Des, while you keep getting your bearings up there. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're listening to this right now. It looks like they are just passing center.
There you go, Mike. Your mic's up now.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like the driver is just passing center. This is LAPD that is chasing them as the next major is going to be Beach Boulevard that they're going to come up on here. And the reason we're kind of in this place where we're having a little bit of hard time finding the car is because LAPD is in tracking mode. The car is in the carpool lane, the #1 lane, just passing Beach Boulevard there. And it's a blue, it was described to us as a blue Chevy Cruze. LAPD's Harbor Division was the ones chasing this. They were chasing it for simply reckless driving. And what I've got to say, I'm really surprised that LAPD is chasing this car all the way into Orange County, especially for a want as simple as reckless driving.
Have you heard them maybe reach out to the CHP for any assistance at all?
We thought we did, and then it turned into just notify only. There's an information only broadcast. It wasn't a full-on request for them to take it over. It was just to notify them. But now, I mean, we're well into Orange County here as they pass kind of Warner Avenue is what we're hearing on the radio right now. And again, they're out of the carpool lane. Now they're in that first lane just to the right of the carpool lane. Right there, Des, he's the one who just straddled that carpool lane right there, kind of on the left. You had him in your shot. So looks like, again, LAPD is in tracking mode, but deep into Orange County, which I just think is pretty unusual here for the LAPD. My colleague Orlando now letting me know that CHP in Orange County is now talking about it. So there is a chance that Orange County CHP will get involved. Even if they pull the ground units off from LAPD, which it looks like they may have, we still have the LAPD helicopter overhead. And let me see if there's any. Duke, the sheriff's helicopter down in Orange County, is over it. And then, yeah, CHP looks like they're trying to get into place. And, we were really close to having this car. And then all of a sudden, he started booking about 115 miles an hour away from us. That's why, Dez is doing his absolute best. His pilot, Dylan, also doing his best to try to keep up. It was getting these situations where these cars are getting so fast ahead of us that sometimes it's tough to catch up to them.
Yeah, it just makes you curious and wonder why the LAPD is staying with this. As Mike was talking about, you often see them reaching out to the CHP, and they finally did do so, but why stay for this long? Yeah,
and the incident commander on this was a George unit, a gang unit, so it is a reckless driver. Is there something more that they suspect this person may be doing? Des just told me in my ear he's got it and he's ready to go. Des, going fast.
Yeah, super fast here as we're still struggling to catch up with this car that is going almost as fast as we are. Looks like our speedometer actually still having some trouble getting the exact speed of this car, but looks like we are well over 100 miles an hour, and we are past holiday, getaway rush hour traffic. So this suspect really traffic cooperating pretty well with them as they make their way now into Costa Mesa. So, you had said that it was a gang unit behind this suspect, so maybe somebody wanted here for not clear what crimes, but kind of makes sense why LAPD would be chasing into Orange County. But now we're waiting for CHP to get involved, as you said, and so we saw all of those units there that when we were still trying to get on the scene, didn't realize just how far back all of those units that were rolling with lights and sirens, just how far back they still were at that point. And I'm still hearing LAPD's helicopter overhead calling out the shots as we go over that huge elevated carpool lane right here. Try to get it on the other side here, I believe, is the suspect vehicle. And there we go. So we believe it was a blue, possibly a Chevy Cruze or something like that. It was a four-door vehicle. Hadn't heard about any more than the driver being in the car right now. But some really high speeds. Folks like to drive pretty fast in Orange County as it is, and that's why, if we were in LA County, we'd probably be seeing this driver fly by other cars. But, I got to say, in all my experience in Orange County, it's not uncommon to see people going 80, 90 in wide open traffic. So it's kind of deceptive. It doesn't look like this suspect is going that much faster than everybody else, but he is driving awfully fast out here.
And Mike, how often do jurisdictions kind of cross into other jurisdictions, like LAPD going into Orange County?
Yeah, I would say LAPD going into another LA County city, not uncommon.
Is okay, right.
I really don't know the last time I remember LAPD chasing it into Orange County. I've seen the sheriffs chase them into Orange County because they border the county line obviously more than the city of LA does. But by now, I'm surprised that we didn't hand it over to CHP sooner. Part of that might be is because we got off the freeway for a really long time. So I'm going to go back here and I can look. So we came down, we picked it up, we heard it on the 110 South before the 105. So that's where the distance we've made here. I'm sorry, we heard it in the
Looks like it might be getting off. Maybe not. Nope.
Oh yeah, kind of in it. Well.
Well, no, yeah, we are getting off the freeway now, actually, and unfortunately for us, we're getting diverted by John Wayne Airport here. The airspace here, not nearly as sensitive as LAX, but we can still have some complications as we are now right by John Wayne Airport. So let's see what direction they decide to go here as we're now off the freeway, coming off at MacArthur, just going right through that red light right here. So we'll stick with this here. Might be a little bit complicated. They were trying to get us to go over midfield here for other traffic. Obviously, John Wayne, very, very busy on this Memorial Day weekend as we are on MacArthur. It looks like we're headed eastbound over the 405.
Through the red.
So right kind of here on the border of Costa Mesa and headed towards Santa Ana, I believe.
And really picking up some speed there on the surface streets along MacArthur.
Blowing those red lights.
Exactly. And, a lot of people out and about. It is Friday night, is the Memorial Day weekend that just started, and people are obviously enjoying the nice weather out there tonight, but this is very scary, making that U-turn right there suddenly. And if we're talking about a reckless driver, obviously, police really invested in getting this guy. The LAPD, as we've been talking about, has been chasing this from the 110 freeway. The LAPD's Harbor Division gang unit, as they blow through another light there. But, as we've been talking about, speeds of over 115 miles per hour on the freeway. Looks like, upwards of 70 miles per hour on surface streets. So obviously, there's a reason why the LAPD specifically wants to apprehend this person, and they don't want to hand it over to another agency. Obviously, there are many agencies nearby. The Orange County Sheriff's Department, Costa Mesa Police Department, Newport Beach Police Department. We're surrounded by agencies.
Yeah, and Susie, really quick, we did hear them pull the ground units off. The LAPD ground units have been told to pull off. The helicopter is still with it overhead. And so we had heard when they got into Orange County that they did want CHP to come take it, but now we're off the freeway. Is there a unit behind it, Des? I see some flashing light.
Going into John Wayne.
Oh,
look at this. It looks like we're headed into the airport here to the massive parking structures, and unfortunately, this is probably the plan.
A unit behind
because, we know what happens. Oh no, look at this though.
That's
the
LAPD.
Authorities are here. They said not so fast. Yep, LAPD still with this. Well, now unfortunately we're on the other side of the parking garage. I have to imagine that this was their strategy. We're going to lose them here underneath. Nothing we can really do right. I don't even think we can get to the other side because, again, we're dealing with John Wayne's airspace. So let's see if they come back out the other side. Have to wonder if this was the strategy, though, to evade the eyes of law enforcement from the air, and there was nobody on the ground. So why not head into a parking structure? But maybe LAPD saw that coming, and as soon as he got into an area where he could get away, they were right there behind him.
Yeah, we'll see if he comes out of the structure at some point. Oftentimes we do see them come back out and perhaps out of the airport. That is what we're hoping for. But, oftentimes they do go into these huge parking structures. As Desmond was just talking about, you can hear Desmond's concern because we so often see it. They will go into these parking structures, park their car, simply blend into the crowd, and obviously at an airport, very easy to do so.
And what a mess on Memorial Day weekend, too, trying to get out of here. Law enforcement down there is going to have to deal with that as well. And I got to say, I'm surprised those ground units, they caught on to his plan, and they were right there.
Wow. And, when the LAPD goes into tracking mode, they always say that, they're not too far behind. The chopper is overhead. It looks like they are coming back out on the other end then. Desmond, do you see them?
Yeah. I just got a little glimpse of them there where we were able to kind of peer through. There's a little bit of a break there.
They're still
in the structure, but they're still now kind of back underneath. We should see them come back right under here momentarily, but just a reminder, if you didn't realize how massive the parking structure is here at John Wayne Airport, it's one of the largest I've ever seen. Pretty crazy. So we should, unless they go into the structure, we should see them come out here any moment. So we'll see, unless they, decide to ditch the vehicle, of course. It would probably be pretty difficult for that suspect to try to get out and then run into the airport. I would have to imagine that they would get tackled immediately by a gang of security. So just waiting to see what happens here if they're going to come back out. But the parking garage might have been a pretty effective strategy if LAPD was not right behind. But going into the actual airport terminal, I would have to imagine that would be folly.
Yeah, one of the options here is that they've already caught up to him, right, Mike and Des, and that they're already in custody, right?
They're right behind him. I mean, he's got, it would have been great if I think LAPD lulled him into that false sense of security, thinking that they were much further behind him, and really they weren't. He made that U-turn too, and I kind of wondered if that U-turn was to see if anybody was there.
Right.
On the ground behind him, right?
Right. There's the spotlight.
What, they haven't stopped? What? They do? Huh. Pilot Dylan's hearing that they have the suspects stopped. Here we see.
Sheriff.
It looks like another, Orange County Sheriff's right there. But, gosh, unfortunately, I think they might just be in a area where we can't see them at the moment. You see LAPD spotlight kind of all over the place as well. They look like they're having a tough time, as are we.
Des, it doesn't look like, when you kind of peer under there to the left, it kind of looked like traffic wasn't really moving on the left side. I wonder if they've got them, kind of stopped right there and they're holding traffic, right?
Yeah.
If you look right through here, I haven't seen any cars kind of, who's that? That's more LAPD.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. So this may be stopped right here underneath just where we can't see it. So I guess the suspect did not want to be seen by us up here in SkyCal tonight, if that is the case. But we heard some radio traffic that they may be stopped with the vehicle right now, and like Mike was saying, no other traffic coming out. So I think that lines up.
Yeah, certainly a good strategy if you don't want to be seen by choppers and helicopters, obviously, because of the fact that this is a huge covering, if you will, parking structure that they possibly are under right now. But we did see LAPD units right behind this person, so we were pretty certain that this person did not get away, but they did for a while there. We thought that the LAPD was in tracking mode just with their chopper overhead, and when they entered this parking structure here, that's when we suddenly saw LAPD units. And if you're wondering why the LAPD is down here in Orange County at John Wayne Airport following this pursuit, well, they've been following this person since the 110 freeway near the San Pedro area out of the Harbor Division of the LAPD. The LAPD again went into tracking mode, and that's when they back off their ground units and sort of put the pressure off of the person who's driving on the ground so that they might not go faster, because this, in fact, the want was reckless driving. So if they put more pressure on this person, it could certainly, put people's lives in danger. They certainly don't want to do that. So as we continue to follow this pursuit, this LAPD pursuit in Orange County, certainly a strange one, because we rarely see the LAPD crossing jurisdictions like that, especially into a different county. But certainly they are invested in getting this person.
Yeah, look, we see a fire truck with lights and sirens on coming into the parking structure as well. Very strange, as Susie was saying, in many cases, when a pursuit suspect wants to give police the slip, a parking garage is usually a good option. And on a busy holiday travel night like tonight, that would have been the case. It would have been the perfect getaway. But as you see here, just the amount of law enforcement right now at the airport there, LAPD officers, fire trucks as well. We're not quite sure whether or not they have the suspect in custody, but the thought is that perhaps the suspect is stopped.
Is
right,
at least stopped under there. And in the control room, if we have a second to bring up my computer, I want to show people kind of what the underneath of that area looks like. I know we'll work on that here in a second. But yeah, you see that spotlight from the LAPD. I just checked and figure out what the fire department's doing. They're there on some sort of medical call. So it's kind of not clear if it's related to that suspect. It is certainly appears to be in the same area. They're obviously on the upper level. You see the spotlight there, as Des was mentioning. Oh, you know what, Des? Can you go back into the window right there? I can't tell. There looked like there was some like flashing lights that are reflecting on the window. I can't tell if that's from the fire engine over to the left or if that's from units downstairs. It looks like it. It's hard to tell, but I'm just wondering if those are the units that are right underneath of the structure there that would go into the parking garage. The reason I was going to show you guys underneath is because where this is, there's no option for that car to turn right. They only would have been able to go left into the parking garage because the right side is obviously the entire airport terminal. So that's where they're stopped right now. Code 4, Des? You just heard code 4?
Yeah, I just heard the radio traffic. It sounds like one of the ground units saying code 4. So it sounds like the suspect may have actually parked the car and attempted to run into the terminal.
Oh wow.
And, because we heard the airship saying that they had the car, but they didn't say anything about the suspect until just now. We just heard code 4. We have all suspects in Terminal C. So now they said suspects, so there must have been more than one person in that vehicle, but unfortunately, it was on the lower level there underneath this gargantuan parking garage, so we weren't able to see that, but that was the radio traffic that I just heard with LAPD saying code 4, so good news.
Okay, we are about to start the 9 o'clock hour. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Harvey. You've probably been listening to what looks like the end of a police pursuit. That's how we begin the 9 o'clock news here on KCAL News, and we'll go back up to Desmond Shaw. This took quite some time, Desmond, right? I mean, you started on the 110 freeway, went to the 405, ended up down the coast, exiting at MacArthur Boulevard, and then into this huge airport, John Wayne Airport. But apparently, that wasn't too much for officers to apprehend this suspect.
No, that's right. I mean, it was LAPD's Harbor Division, so, that's in the vicinity of San Pedro, or kind of everything along the 110 south of the 405. That's where we first heard about this, 110 leaving the San Pedro area, and then up to the eastbound 91, and then was kind of messing around surface streets not too far away from Long Beach Airport for a little bit, kind of dancing around that area. Kind of made me think that, maybe they were trying to ditch the vehicle around there, but then they decided to get on the 405, going 120 miles an hour at one point, and then made their way down here to John Wayne Airport. And it definitely seemed like the idea was to either ditch the vehicle in a parking structure or, run into the terminal. And just as I was saying that on the air, looked like LAPD kind of re-engaged because they had backed off for quite some time. But I think they saw the writing on the wall of what the suspect was trying to do, and they decided to get more aggressive about it. Did not want this this possibly known suspect to get away. As Mike was saying, these were George units, so gang units, so probably somebody that they really wanted to get into custody. And it took some time, and the suspect ditched the vehicle underneath on the lower level there. We weren't able to see that, but then it sounds like from what we heard, the suspect ran into the terminal where they were apprehended by LAPD, possibly more than one, because we heard them say all suspects now in custody. So a code 4 and a all clear. Definitely a sigh of relief for everyone trying to leave John Wayne Airport, not going to have to see any kind of lockdown operation or anything like that, now that those suspects are in custody, Pat. That's for sure. I'm glad that you reiterated what Mike said, that the reason the LAPD was still involved in this is because these suspects were wanted or for some kind of gang activity. That's why the gang unit was actually following them for as long as they did. We thought at one point, since it was on the freeway for such a long time and in Orange County, that Orange County CHP would take over, but guess they didn't have to, because once they exited on MacArthur Boulevard and went back on surface streets, LAPD remained engaged and actually took these suspects into custody. And I guess they were trying to run away. Is that how this happened, Mike or Des? They got out of the vehicle, right?
Yeah, that's what Des was hearing from the police helicopter up there, as they kind of came underneath where there was no, visibility from the airship, got out and potentially tried to run inside the terminal, and that's when they were taken into custody.
All right, well, Des called to code 4.